Coming up on OU Nightly, widespread rain chances are expected on Saturday, which could disrupt the spring game.
And parking solutions on campus. Hear the new plan. Plus, it's day 3 of Donald Trump's hush money trial. We have the latest as jury selection continues. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Melina Samir.
And I'm Darian Curry. We begin tonight with breaking news.
An Oklahoma County grand jury recommended no charges be filed against a Del City police officer accused of shooting a man at a Choctaw High School football game back in August of 2023.
This video from our partners at News 9 shows the chaos that unfolded that night. It all started after a 15-year-old allegedly shot another teenager during the game. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
And all eyes are on the forecast for the spring game.
Your campus weather authority says fans may be battling with some rain.
Let's get right over to OU Nightly meteorologist Braden Seo, who's tracking the latest changes.
Thanks, ladies. Yeah, along with those rain chances coming up on Saturday, we'll also have these cooler temperatures moving into the state. You can see already across really the northwestern half of the state from the I-44 corridor and up to the north of that. We've got temperatures now in the 50s with even some 80s still confined over here towards southeastern Oklahoma. And looking at that spring game forecast, you can see we're expecting some light rain to be around by the time of tailgating, with those temperatures pretty chilly in the lower 50s. And as we move towards kickoff, we could be looking at a slight break in the rain. Not too significant though, because it will move back in around the middle of the game towards halftime, and we'll be talking about temperatures still hovering right there around those 50s. So look, coming up in the show, I'll talk more in depth about this game day forecast, as well as these cooler temperatures and widespread rain chances coming to our state. Back to you.
Thanks, Braden. OU Women's Gymnastics is at the NCAA Championships in Fort Worth, where they will compete in the semifinals tonight. OU Nightly's Emily Faith is live to preview the meet. Emily?
Hey, Gigi. Where Sooner fans have gathered to send off the Oklahoma women's gymnastics team to Dickies Arena for the semifinals competition tonight. You can see they've got some speakers blaring, sparkly cowboy hats on, and OU has sent their mascot Boomer as well to show the team some support and love going into this exciting and intense weekend of championship competition. So here's what will happen later tonight. The team will compete in the semifinals competition starting at 8 p.m. and they will be going up against Florida, Alabama, and Utah. We'll be sure to keep you posted on social media with the results of the semifinals later tonight. But coming up next in sports a little later in the show, I have got head coach KJ Kindler's thoughts on this team's season that they have had so far, and also what they hope is going to be coming soon later this weekend.
Thanks, Emily. Back here on campus, we could soon see some relief for our parking problems. The university says more spaces are on the way, but the question is how many? OU Nightly's Abigail Franklin is live with the story.
The university admitted over 5,000 students last fall semester, making it the largest class in the school's history. But it caused some parking chaos for students on campus. And as we approach the next incoming class, the demand for parking could be much higher.
OU transportation and parking is crucial for enrolled students.
Last year, parking was an issue around the dorms.
But coming to a close on a record-breaking largest class number,
if we start getting a capacity,
an enrollment repeat could stress campus services.
we will keep up with the demand.
A demand already felt by an RA who lives and works on campus.
And I live and work in the dorm, and so I always need a place to park because that's where I am a large part of the time.
Demands that Director of Parking and Transportation Services, Chris Glenn, says they're already planning for.
We are always looking at the growth. We are always talking to the administration. I'm in meetings all the time about the growing freshman classes, the growing student body.
While the university does not have a projected number for the next incoming class, There are new additions already on their way.
We are looking to add around 100 spaces near housing and then close to 100 spaces near the duck pond.
And as fall semester creeps closer, OU students will have to wait until then to see if their needs will be met.
Along with those new parking spaces, students still have the option to park free at Lloyd Noble and ride buses like the ones you can see passing up Campus Depot behind me. Reporting live from Campus Depot, Abigail Franklin, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Abigail. Governor Kevin Stitt stopped by Norman today to pay a visit to his alma mater. He took to X to post these photos of his day at Norman High School, saying, quote, "Go Tigers." Stitt graduated from the high school in 1991.
And jury selection for former President Donald Trump's first criminal trial is underway in New York, but not without complications. OU Nightly senior political reporter Noah Mack is live in the studio with the latest. Noah, what do we know?
Well, Darren, you'll remember this is the case where prosecutors say former President Trump made unlawful hush money payments to quiet his alleged mistresses during the 2016 election, to which he has pled not guilty. But as of right now, they have the full 12-person jury and one alternate selected. They are still searching for 5 other backups. This comes as 2 jurors who already selected were dismissed this morning. One of those jurors said too much of her identity had been publicly revealed, stating that friends and family had already reached out to her with suspicions that she was selected. Now, the other juror who was excused after one of the prosecutors questioned the honesty of his answers. Darian, Melina.
Thanks, Noah. The U.S. announces new sanctions on Iran following the country's attack on Israel this past weekend. OU Nightly's Sophia Cabrera has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
The U.S. and the UK have imposed new sanctions on Iran as punishment for missile and drone attacks on Israel. White House officials say the sanctions aim to cut off supplies used for their missiles and drones program. Meanwhile, the UK has imposed sanctions on 7 people and 6 entities linked to the attack. And this just into the newsroom, the U.S. has vetoed a resolution that would allow Palestine to join the United Nations as a full member. A U.S. State Department spokesperson stated that the U.S. believes the best way for the Palestinian people to achieve statehood is, quote, through direct negotiations, end quote. And at Columbia University, New York police arrested more than 100 pro-Palestinian protesters, many being students. These protests come one day after university officials testified about anti-Semitism before Congress. Officers removed 50 tents as students called for amnesty for those arrested. CNN reports the university's president authorized the NYPD to break up the encampment. And several states reported outages with 911 calls due to a light pole installation by third-party company Lumen. Service has since been restored, but residents are urged to call via landline or text 911 if this issue reoccurs. Darian, Melina.
Thanks, Sophia. One summer bug poses no threat to some pets, but not all.
Find out what kind of pets can be affected up next.
And some careers may lead to dementia.
Which careers and how after the break.
My baby's back from the West Coast.
Here are those pictures that you asked for your school project? First day of school, cute as a button.
So long ago.
Oh, here's Grandma Florence after that flood wiped out the whole neighborhood.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe. And it's the best way to protect that legacy.
Ah, those beans smell heavenly.
Give Mom a little credit.
You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year.
Oh,
Great idea.
At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with the link.
Okay.
Smart.
I'm coming to share with you guys.
Protect your legacy. Plan for natural disasters today. Visit ready.gov/plan.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, Visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
It is springtime here in Oklahoma. Of course, that means severe weather.
This is definitely not something to take lightly into this afternoon and evening.
Some stronger tornadoes, anywhere between EF2 to EF5 intensity. Now is the time to prepare
for a tornado or a severe thunderstorm to really produce some destruction.
It's spring, which means cicadas are starting to come out. But what does this mean for you and your furry friends? OU Nightly's Julia Roberts has the answers from doctors in today's Health Beat.
Melina, people will not have to worry about cicadas being around harmful or toxic toward them. Also, most pets will not be harmed consuming one or two of these critters. But doctors say smaller animals or those allergic to shellfish can get upset stomachs.
The only issue we'll present for your pet is if they were to ingest a large amount of them, or if they're a smaller dog, if they ate a small piece of the exoskeleton, sometimes that can really irritate their GI tract.
A leading trade group for dietary supplements is asking the makers of melatonin supplements to make their safety labels better. Last month, the CDC found 11,000 children went to the ER from 2019 to 2022 after eating the supplement with no supervision. The Council for Responsible Nutrition is giving the makers 18 to 24 months to willingly add child-proof packaging and approve caution labels. Now, if your job feels kind of easy and not very difficult, the risk for cognitive decline and dementia in your elderly years increases. A new study follows 7,000 Norwegians beginning in their 30s until they retired in their 60s. The results show that those with a job that was not mentally stimulating had higher risk of mild cognitive impairment and dementia after the age of 70. And improving your health is always a great idea, but another reason is that today is National Exercise Day. Use this day to get your body moving, go out dancing, find a new hobby, maybe even take a walk before this nice weather goes away. Melina, Darian.
Thanks, Julia. Coming up on OU Nightly, big changes for OU students.
Find out what's in the new in the Title IX office up next.
And we've got rain chances to talk about on Saturday, and I'll let you know how that could affect the spring game coming up on OU Nightly.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
Come start time for dinner.
Oh, terrific.
Pasta dinner.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Here's a live look from our Weather Center cam, and you can see traffic is moving smoothly here along Highway 9, and also a lot of greenery out here as we've had some very warm temperatures the last few days. But that's not the case right now. We've really cooled down quite a bit into those lower 60s, and we'll continue to cool down as we go through the next couple of days as this cooler air continues to filter into our area. Across the metro, we've got temperatures in the 50s now across northwestern portions of the metro, and then as you move farther to the southeast, that's where you're still in those upper 60s and 70s, even some 80s still lingering here in places like McAllister and Idabel before this cooler air really starts to take over going into the day tomorrow. And you can see here on the temperature change, we've got temperatures nearly 40 degrees cooler than we had this time yesterday here in Enid, approaching 30 degrees below where we were this time yesterday here in the metro. And that'll continue, like I said, over the next couple of days as that cooler air really starts to filter in, along with some gusty winds. As this cooler air really starts to push southward, we've got gusty north winds up to 30 miles per hour at times, and this will stick with us through tomorrow, where we got still 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts at times tomorrow afternoon before they start to diminish as we head into tomorrow night. Now, another thing with these gusty winds, it's really kicking up the pollen out there, especially tree and grass pollen. So if you're an allergy sufferer, unfortunately, the wind is not your friend, as these allergy index report does show that these levels are in that high category. But another thing we're talking about today is this slight risk for severe weather across extreme eastern Oklahoma. And we do have some shower and thunderstorm activity out there right now, especially over in eastern Oklahoma. Taking a closer look at that towards Muskogee, we've got a few storms trying to get going, not too much right now, but a few storms could be on the stronger side through the afternoon and into the evening. Now on Saturday, we're going to be talking about a much larger rain chance across basically the entire state of Oklahoma, especially here from Oklahoma City over to Elk City and southward to the Red River. We'll be talking about widespread rain chances, and looking at that game day forecast, we're talking about light rain by the time of your tailgate. Kickoff could be still a few showers lingering around, but we're expecting a little bit of a break around that time before rain really starts to move back in as we head around the middle of the game into halftime. And Futurecast shows this activity really starting to ramp up tomorrow, or excuse me, late tomorrow into early Saturday morning, and especially as we head into right around game time, especially through the game into as the game is winding down. We could be talking about widespread rain and thunderstorm activity across central Oklahoma. Lows tonight will dip down into those 40s here in central Oklahoma. Highs tomorrow really rebound into the 60s one last time before they really cool down on Saturday. In that 7-day forecast, you can see that 80% coverage of rain on Saturday just in time for the spring game, and then we cool down quite a bit and the rain moves out as we head into the day on Sunday.
Well, thank you, Braden. So I know there's a pretty good chance for rain on Saturday, but are we still thinking about going to the spring game?
I probably won't be there. Cool and rainy is not my cup of tea, but if you are going out, make sure you bring those raincoats and the umbrellas.
Awesome. Thank you, Braden.
Thank you.
Now, new on OU Nightly, changes are coming to OU's Office of Institutional Equity. Christine Taylor is leaving OU and stepping down as the university's Title IX coordinator. OU President Joseph Harris says Marcy Gracie will serve as the interim Title IX coordinator effective April 20th. The search for a new coordinator will begin immediately. Now, OU baseball sets their sights on Provo for a 3-game series against BYU.
OU Nightly's Emily LeBeth has that and more in sports.
OU women's gymnastics is competing for their 3rd consecutive national championship. Hear what head coach KJ Kindler has to say about her squad before the meet, next in sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hi, I'm Emily Lebeth, and it's time for sports. Beyonce says that if you like it, you should put a ring on it. And OU women's gymnastics definitely agrees as they hold back-to-back national titles. OU Nightly reporter Emily Faith is live in Fort Worth as the ladies hunt for their third in a row.
I'm here at the Omni Hotel in Fort Worth, Texas, where just a little bit ago, Oklahoma fans gathered to send off the Oklahoma women's gymnastics team to Dickies Arena before they compete in the semifinals competition tonight. Now, yesterday we heard from head coach KJ Kindler in a press conference where she talked about how proud she is of the incredibly rare undefeated season this team has had and how this season has exceeded even her expectations.
It's been a heck of a year, very consistent, very amazing across the board. We didn't set out to be undefeated. Obviously, that's kind of not a goal you make at the beginning of the year, but what an incredible run they have had, and they have met the best of the best in this season. To see them come out of this whole schedule undefeated has been amazing as well, and something you just don't see very often in sports at all.
OU will compete tonight at 8 p.m. in that semifinals competition where they will face Florida, Utah, and Alabama. Of course, we will keep you posted on those results as well as results throughout the weekend on all social media pages for OU Nightly and tomorrow live at 4:30. But for now, reporting in Fort Worth, Texas, Emily Faith, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Emily. Fans are only 2 days away from seeing Team 130 in action in the OU football spring game. Many Sooner players will make their debut in the Crimson and Cream, as well as defensive coordinator Zach Alley. Senior linebacker Danny Stutzman looks forward to facing this talent and has high praise for OU's offense.
It's a very high-powered offense. Obviously the tempo is no surprise, and Jackson's a very, he's a unique player, man. The way he has that arm strength, the way he can just continue to, use his legs to make plays on the field. And there's so many explosive weapons on that offense. Bring a guy like Bauer Sharp and Deion Burks to come in there and just make plays, and all the running backs that we have, it's deep all over the place. I'm really impressed with the way they've performed, and just excited to, kind of have another attempt to just go at them.
Pitching it over to Provo, OU baseball is facing BYU in their first Big 12 series matchup. Braden Davis earned the start on the mound tonight for the Sooners, and he is leading OU in strikeouts and coming off of a shutout performance against Kansas State. OU will try to cage the Cougars starting tonight at 7 p.m. And another Sooner Cougars series on the Diamond is happening tomorrow. OU softball takes on Houston on their home dirt for Game 1 at 6 p.m. And OU announced that their Bedlam game on May 4th will be broadcast nationally on ESPN. Melina, Darian.
Thanks, Emily. Kids were able to grow in their reading skills in Las Vegas.
Who they were reading to and why after the break.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
It is springtime here in Oklahoma. Of course, that means severe weather.
This is definitely not something to take lightly into this afternoon and evening.
Some stronger tornadoes, anywhere between EF2 to EF5 intensity. Now is the time to prepare
for a tornado or a severe thunderstorm to really produce some destruction.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo? Donating to a pet's medical care can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
Pumpkin and chocolate dinner.
Oh, terrific.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
I'm Kamarion Brown with an update on a controversial immigration bill in the state. The Oklahoma House passed House Bill 4156 today that would establish criminal charges against illegal immigrants. If signed into law, any person caught in the state illegally would face a misdemeanor charge, a fine, and would have to leave Oklahoma within 72 hours. On a second offense, the person could face up to 2 years in prison. The bill now heads to the Senate. Darian, Melina.
Thanks, Kamarion. Some lucky pups in Las Vegas had the chance to spend some time with kids learning to read. Nevada SPCA rescue dogs were brought to Gene Ward Elementary School to get human contact and attention from the kids.
The kids got the chance to grow their self-esteem and practice their reading skills with the rescue dogs. This was part of a promotion for Adopt a Shelter Pet Day, which is on April 30th.
Now let's go over to Braden Seo for one last look at our forecast. Braden.
Thanks, ladies. Yeah, here's that game forecast on Saturday, and you can see rain is possible by tailgate, cloudy skies with maybe some lingering rain by kickoff, and then that rain really starts to return as we head into the middle of the game. And checking one last look at that 7-day forecast, you can see the rain moves out by Sunday. We warm back up into the 70s with rain chances by the end of next week. Back to you.
Thanks, Braden, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Melina Samir.
And I'm Darian Curry. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want